because it made the patriarchy look like so much fun. There were barbecues, there were people quoting Sylvester Stallone movies, people killing minks and wearing them over their necks. Everybody was happy, but I just don't know what the message of this movie was.
Welcome to Tairimo Boys podcast. I'm your host Cody. With me in second chair is the man who's a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. It's Jeremy.
Hi, Barbie.
With me in third chair is the man who looks pretty in pink. It's Ryan.
What's going on?
I really like those juicy pink pants you always wear, Ryan.
He's just kidding, men I work with.
Well, now I'm interested to hear the juicy part.
You gotta see the juicy part.
You gotta grab the juicy part. On today's episode, we've got a very Barbie-tastic episode of Tairimo Boys with the Barbie movie. So, Barbie movie. Barbie, it's a toy meant for little girls. We're grown-ass men watching this. So, Jeremy, what were your first thoughts on this movie?
I was enjoying it for what it was. That's all I'll say for now.
Fair enough. What about you, Ryan? I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting to hear your magic words.
You know what? I thought I was gonna hate this movie. But believe it or not, I actually liked this movie for the most part.
There it is. There it is. That's what I was waiting for.
The most part.
The reason I was waiting for that is one, it's Ryan's catchphrase, and two, that is for the most part is my exact view on the movie.
It's one of my catchphrases. The other one is a bukkake of something, but that's really not something that is appropriate for this review.
We're off to a strong start.
Just the flash review.
Call back, kids.
So Ryan has it perfectly when it comes to my opinion. I enjoyed it for the most part. I think the movie had some huge flaws in it that we're going to be discussing. I enjoyed it, but for the most part, I don't think this movie's going to hold up. We're going to have to address the elephant in the room and talk about the politics of this movie.
There are a lot of Barbie politics in here.
There's real life politics. There's narratives. There's gonna be spoilers for the plot of this movie. So if you don't want to be spoiled and really want to watch the Barbie movie on your own, go watch it and tune right back in and give us your opinion on it in the comments below.
We'll be here.
So let's get into the movie. Before this movie came out, we had been discussing watching it for months. We were excited for it. Then the reviews started coming in. I think, did we watch it? Did I watch it opening week? I think I watched opening week.
I believe you did.
Yeah, I did. And then Jeremy and Ryan watched it around the same time this week.
Mm-hmm. Theater was still very busy, and I went at 11 a.m.
So, speaking of busy, we need to talk about how popular this movie is. So, you've got the whole Oppenheimer, Barbie, Barbenheimer, Oppen Barbie meme.
Oh, they were riding the hype train. They're riding the hype train for sure.
Yeah. This summer's been a train wreck with movies. We had The Flash, we had Indiana Fart. Then we were surprised that Mission Impossible 7 was good. And then here we are with Barbie and Oppenheimer.
My emotions are all over the place.
So audiences have been waiting to get good movies to watch. As far as I know, the Barbie movies made like $500 million. Ryan, do you know? Do you have an exact number?
I do not.
I believe it's higher than that.
Hold on, I want to look it up now.
Yeah, now I'm really curious.
800 million.
The Barbie.
Imagine this dethrones Avatar and Avengers. Yep, so as of recording this, Barbie has made $800 million.
That's insane.
Well, no one wanted to see Flash or Indiana fart.
Right? In comparison, what has Indiana fart made?
Last number I get is from 2 weeks ago, which is 300 million.
Yeah, I just got 302 million
Yeah.
Yeah,
two
that's what I'm
weeks
seeing.
The
ago.
one, so the movie starring the man made less than the movie starring the woman. Wage gap my ass, ladies.
I found an article. It's 5 days ago that they're saying 294 million, so even less than that. But
This
They're
movie's
actually
so bad
losing
you
money.
took away money.
they're losing money by the week. The point I'm getting at is people are going to see this movie. The reason I wanted to point this out is the Barbie movie has an advantage when when you're compared to Dial of Destiny and The Flash, and that's families are being taken to see it. People actually want to see Dial of Destiny. In The Flash, it might be just one person, maybe someone with a date, someone with a friend. So one, two, maybe three people. But whenever I saw it opening weekend, I went at it was 10:20 at night on a Sunday to watch it, and like half the theater was full of like entire families with like 4, 6, 8 people.
Also, to be fair, most of Harrison Ford's fans are dead now.
True. True.
Well, metaphorically and literally. But like when you look at the money made, the important thing to realize is that Barbie has a whole family appeal, where the other two films don't. So, just want to address that elephant in the room. Now, let's address the next elephant in the room. The politics of this movie.
Strap in.
So, tell me what you guys think about this. For anyone who doesn't know, they kept under wrap the politics of this movie. When they were advertising and marketing it, they didn't mention anything about feminism and patriarchy and all that. Speaking of that, as soon as the first reviews started coming in, we had learned that yeah, this is like a really woke movie. So whenever I went to the theater, I went and took a notepad. I decided I'm gonna count how many times the word patriarchy is said in this movie and how many times the word feminism is counted in this movie.
It made me sick hearing the word patriarchy so many times.
So it's time for everyone's favorite segment, the Tairimo Boys quiz show. Jeremy, how many times was the word patriarchy said in this movie?
Far too many.
That is an incorrect answer. You've got to give a number, an estimate.
I'm going to say 13.
Ryan?
I didn't bring a notepad to the theater because you didn't tell me there was going to be a pop quiz.
Pop quizzes are exactly that. They're pop, and they're surprise.
Ah, 20 through 25.
All right. If we were playing by Price is Right rules, you'd both lose. But because we're playing by Tairimo Boys rules, Jeremy is the closest, even though he went over. Patriarchy was said 10 times in the movie, and it was written once on a book.
It was a lot.
Probably the main plot of the movie. We'll get into the plot here soon after our final tie-breaking time making question. All right, next question. Final question. How many times was the word feminism said in this movie? Jeremy?
0.
Ryan?
0.
All right, well, Jeremy wins by default because he's only got 1 point, and these guys both tied with the same answer. The word feminism was said twice in the movie.
I don't even remember.
It was, well, I think once. Once was in the opening monologue, and then once like really late into the movie.
That's right. I forgot about the 2001 and Baby Odyssey monologue.
So I just want to dive into the general gist of the movie. As Ryan just stated, movie starts out as a parody of like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Instead of monkeys worshipping a giant monolith, it's little girls throwing a temper tantrum with their porcelain dolls when Barbie appears. We're taken into Barbie Land where we learn that everything is perfect, and it's kind of what you'd expect out of Barbie. All the Barbies live in dream mansions. Barbies control everything. Everything's perfect, except for weird Barbie. So, as I mentioned, This movie tries to act woke. Now, you guys tell me what you think about this. I could see the woke narrative this movie was pushing, but here's the problem. Like poor writing constantly undermined the narrative it was trying to push.
I agree with that.
What about you, Ryan?
Oh, man, I can't really get into that till later in the review. So I'm going to save it. But you'll see where I'm going later.
We learned that the Kens, they don't live in Barbie dream houses. We don't know where they live. It's kind of assumed that they're like homeless or they live on the beach or something. But the Kens, they're second class citizens in this world. They exist basically to try to get all the Barbie's attention.
That's what they live off of.
They really want that Barbie attention. They're basically simps.
Yeah, basically.
We're introduced to our main Barbie and our main Ken. We've got Margot Robbie. She's playing like stereotypical Barbie, and we got Ryan Gosling playing the main Ken. I gotta say, Robbie and Gosling were excellent in their roles.
They killed it.
Another thing I want to mention, the one who played like the rival Ken, what's his name? Simu Liu.
Simu Liu.
Okay, I'm usually bad with names, but it seems like I'm 100% on this one. He did an excellent job as well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The mother and daughter, not so much.
Not so much.
But we'll get into that. So, we're shown this world. Ken's treated as second-class citizens. I think you can see where this review is going to go with our opinions. If you're at all familiar with this movie. Barbies are just ruling it up. They control the entire government, even though Barbie Land's supposedly perfect. After a beach scene.
Which is apparently an occupation.
For kids.
Yeah, so this is early in the movie. They constantly use the word beach off, which you can figure, kind of alluding to beat off. So there's a bunch of jokes about that, but it's subtle enough to where adults will laugh, kids won't get it, but the kids will still laugh because it sounds silly.
They do place the adult humor pretty well.
After the beach scene, our stereotypical Barbie, she starts like not metaphorically falling to pieces. Like she's like losing her like perfect Barbie-ness and basically has flat feet, getting cellulite, and is depressed. So they go to Weird Barbie, which apparently is an actual Barbie that was sold. This movie makes a lot of fun of like the past like Barbie and Ken products. Like at one point they have like there's like a Ken with like a magic earring, and they even like in the credits they even show like, yeah, this is an actual doll. Our main Barbie, she finds out that something's wrong. Something's wrong in the real world since Barbie Land's its own little pocket dimension type thing. She has to go to the real world and find her owner and make her like not depressed. What happens next is, well, there's like a poor blue pill, red pill analogy with Weird Barbie and Normal Barbie, where our main Barbie, she just wants to take the blue pill, but she's kind of forced to take the red pill.
Too bad Lawrence Fishburne didn't show up for a cameo.
He'd be a great Ken.
I don't think he does acting anymore. I think he's kind of chubby nowadays. I think that's why he wasn't in like Matrix 4. Anyways, Barbie has to go to the real world. It's apparently a journey through with all these Barbie vehicles, and Ken stows away with her. When they reach the real world, Barbie is immediately assaulted with the evil patriarchy and sexual harassment. They end up in Venice Beach, and right away, guys are gawking at her. She figures out that the real world isn't a feminist utopia because there's no lady construction workers, and guys are slapping her on the ass.
Welcome to Venice.
It's Venetia, uncultured swine.
Uncultured swine. Venetia. As speaking from experience, I have seen this exact thing happen. What happened to Margot Robbie, I've seen the exact thing happen in Venice Beach. So be prepared for that if you visit.
Was it a homeless guy?
Most of the time.
Let me tell you about a little story I heard about them recording this scene. And I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what I heard. So, scene in the movie, like all these guys are sexually harassing Barbie because she's wearing like all this like 80s workout neon outfit and rollerblades and walking down rollerblading down Venetia Beach. What actually in real life when they were recording this scene, basically what had happened was all the like normal people that were between shoots that were like walking by, they were like high-fiving Ryan Gosling. Like, hey, that looks pretty cool. Or nice job. Everyone was completely ignoring Margaret Robbie because it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. You comment that she looks nice, that's sexual harassment. You say she looks bad, that's sexual harassment. So completely silent whenever they were recording this scene. Like everyone was just completely ignoring that it didn't exist. But that's the kind of world we live in nowadays. Better to just stay quiet and actually say something.
Don't want to get canceled.
Now, what happens next is Barbie finds her owner while Ken's going around learning about the patriarchy. Ken, he sees like horses. He sees that for the first time in his life, he's finally respected just by a lady asking him for the time. Because like all the Kens in Barbie world, they're completely ignored and exist only to be simps. So he's like, this real world is amazing. Meanwhile, Barbie finds her supposed owner, which is like this teenage girl, who immediately goes off on a woke rant on her. How Barbie's like a capitalist, fascist, and all this other shit.
I almost lost my appetite for my popcorn at that scene.
Buzzword, the monologue.
And speaking of monologues, there is a lot of monologues in this movie, and I'm gonna be talking about it when I get to my final thoughts. Anyways, Barbie, she runs off crying, and Mattel, the company that makes Barbie, finds out like, hey, one of the Barbies escaped Barbie Land, Barbie World, whatever it's called, and we need to recover her and send her back. So she goes to Mattel. Will Ferrell plays like the main Mattel like CEO guy. They try to send her back, and she runs away, comic chasing.
Straight out Scooby Doo.
But eventually, they're unable to catch her. They find out like the secretary for the CEO is her supposed owner's mother, and turns out that all of Barbie's problems are coming from the mother. They end up escaping and going back to Barbie Land. So let's pause here for a second. Now, boys, I don't know about you, but the whole Mattel plot felt like completely pointless. Do you agree with me that like everything related to Mattel and Will Ferrell should have just been cut out of the movie?
Probably. I forgot he was in it when he showed up at the very end.
Yeah, it was all pretty unnecessary. I feel like there's a lot of things that could have been cut out of this movie, and it would have been just fine.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that more later on, but the marketing in this movie kind of said that Will Ferrell was going to be the main villain of this movie, but
I never felt like he was a villain. Not once.
Later on in the review, I'll get more into like the contradictions with everything. But yeah, they're trying to portray him as a villain, but at the same time, he's a hero or trying to do the best thing for the narrative of this movie. Like I said, this movie pushes a narrative and then it undermines its own narrative. Like one of the things to point out is like whenever Barbie gets up and meets with the CEO and all these board members, she points out like there are no women in here, and like it's treated like a comic relief. Like Will Ferrell's like, oh, we all love women, but there's like none in here. And then later on in the movie, he's like literally pushing like this like pro woman stuff. We'll get into that. But anyways, they go back to Barbie Land, and we're introduced to the main villain of the movie. We've already been introduced to the main villain. We just didn't know it yet. Ken is the main villain in this movie. While Barbie was trying to find her owner, Ken learned about the patriarchy and turned Barbie Land into the kingdom, where basically all the Kens rule over Barbie Land. And by rule over, I mean like they have like voting rights now. You know what the Kens do all day? They watch The Godfather. They've got like Mortal Kombat 2 arcade machines. And by the way, Mortal Kombat 1 comes out, I think, next month. If you're listening to this in the future and you hear Mortal Kombat 2 and they like make a new Mortal Kombat 2, I'm talking about the old Mortal Kombat 2.
The OG. And they drink beer.
Yeah, they drink beer, watch The Godfather. They've turned all the Barbie dream houses into Ken Mojo Dojo Casa houses. I don't know about you boys, but I would love to live in a Ken Mojo Dojo Casa house.
I would take one any day. It looked like such a good time.
And that's where we get into some of the like the mixed messages this movie is sending with its narrative. So, like I said, Will Ferrell's playing the CEO of Mattel. There's no women in the board of directors, so he's portrayed as like, oh, he's this like the main patriarchy guy for Mattel. And whenever Ken in the Barbie land has switched all the dream mansions over to these Mojo Dojo Casa houses, they materialize like in the toy factory, and they're like selling like freaking hotcakes. And then Will Ferrell, who's being portrayed this like pro man villain, immediately goes like, "Hey, we can't do this. Barbie's like a feminist icon. We need to stop Ken in order to get the Barbie Dream Mansions back." But that completely undermines like what they were pushing with his character.
And there's the bad writing.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. The Barbie mom and daughter are all back in Barbie Land. They see that Ken has taken over it, and Barbie just kind of gives up because the main Ken, he doesn't care about main Barbie anymore because apparently the Kens are going to change the Constitution, so it's this way forever. Let's talk about the next plot hole. Not the plot hole, the narrative undermining. As I've already mentioned, normally in Barbie world, all the Barbies rule it. The Kens are basically homeless. They want to hang out with the Barbies, but the Barbies have like sleepovers every night. Whenever our main Ken takes over, like everyone's happy. Like the Barbies are happy, the Kens are happy. Like everyone's got equal rights. So that should be the end of the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Barbie. If you look at it in a logical lens, our main Barbie is the villain of the movie.
Plot twist.
Yeah. Because the Kens and the Barbies, they're all happy.
They're living a great life.
They're now living in a great life. They're watching The Godfather, playing Mortal Kombat. They're all communicating and having fun. And nope, Barbie has to come in and set things back to the status quo. Basically, they meet with Weird Barbie again. Bunch of pointless scenes. And the mother ends up, she gives like a speech about like what being a woman is. Snaps the Barbies out, and they want Barbie Land to go back to what it was. So all the Barbies work together, and eventually their ultimate plan is, hey, if we show one of the Kens attention and switch our attention over to another Ken, the Kens are going to get all jealous and they're going to start fighting each other. And that's exactly what happens.
Horrible message to spread.
Yeah. They fix this by basically cheating.
Yep.
So there's like a huge all-out brawl between the Kens, and you get like it's like a Saving Private Ryan D-Day scene.
I did love this scene.
Yeah, it's like the best part of the movie. It's like the it's a musical number too. So you got the Kens, the two factions of Kens just fighting each other and storming the literal beach of Barbie Land or Kingdom now, throwing frisbees at each other and shooting plastic arrows, suction cup arrows.
Seriously, it's probably got to be my favorite scene, or second favorite scene.
It was definitely my favorite scene. It eventually leads into an interpretive dance number.
The beach off.
While all the Kens are fighting, all the Barbies go. They vote to undo the whole Ken takeover, and the Kens are left basically homeless again. The conclusion of the movie is that Barbie wants to be a real woman, so that happens for some reason. The Kens, as like a consolation prize, they get a position on a circuit court. They want a Supreme Court position, but nope, they get a circuit court position. Even though I don't know why a circuit court would exist in Barbie Land, since everything's supposed to be perfect. And we're told that when women have equal rights to men in the real world, the Kens will have equal rights. But the Kens have like next to no rights here, and the real world's in a lot better state than what the Kens are dealing with.
Yeah, I feel bad for the Kens.
Ken is like the hero of this movie. He comes in, he brings like civil rights and equality to everyone, and then Barbie comes in and just fucks everything up.
So we weren't kidding about the main villain.
Like everyone was happy. Kens don't even get to keep their Mojo Dojo houses. Nope, back on the streets or in the beaches. The kids are basically like freaking pets.
The guys didn't even get to keep the houses, huh?
It's just like constantly undermining its plot. Will Ferrell, evil CEO, man, hires exclusively men. Remember, he's making a lot of money from men. No, you can't do that. Barbie's a feminist product. He basically comes in at the end. You forget he's even in the movie. It's like, hey, well, good thing everything's back to normal, and just fucks off back to the real world.
It was absolutely pointless for him to be in Barbie Land.
Yeah, like I said, the whole thing with Mattel should just been cut out of the movie. Like Barbie should have just went to the real world, tried to working with the daughter instead of the daughter spewing a bunch of communist crap.
Woke shit.
Yeah, Barbie should have worked more with her, and then eventually, Mom came home and they discovered Mom was the real problem here, and then they went back and dealt with the kin problem if they really wanted the kin problem to be dealt with.
Even though the kin problem wasn't a kin problem.
Yeah, it was a Barbie problem. Now, like I mentioned, the monologues in this movie, there are constant narrative monologues. The mother, the daughter are like probably the worst ones. They're constantly monologuing, and
It's cringy.
Yeah,
It's cringy.
It's constant like feminist crap. So, boys, tell me if your theater was like this. Anytime there was a long monologue session, whether it be from like the old Barbie creator lady, or the mom, or the daughter, just like overly long monologues, like all the kids in the theater, they started talking because they were getting bored.
I sat as far away from children as possible, so I couldn't say. But I did see the family next to me getting up an awful lot.
What about you, Ryan?
Whenever anybody monologued, there was applause.
Oh, you were in one of those theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Did you boo?
I did not.
There was no standing ovations after those monologues, were there?
No, no, but there was lots of applauding. There was more cheering for those than in Endgame. Cap catching the hammer didn't even garner that much applause.
You know, Ryan, it only takes one mighty man to stand up and boo. Not all heroes wear capes.
I'll go to a second showing and we'll see what I can do.
You heard it here, folks.
I don't know if I could have done that in my theater. There was quite a few women that looked like they could actually hurt me.
Jeremy's built like a dump truck, by the way. But yeah, during my theater, parents were completely quiet. Kids were just bored during the monologues and started talking. And during one of the end of the movie monologues, it was when they even heard one of the kids say really loudly, "This is boring." So yeah, kids are probably aren't gonna like to sit through the monologues. Those monologues are mostly there for the people clapping along like seals.
Yeah, the only time I heard stuff like that was when I was leaving the theaters. I heard quite a few people talking about, wow, they nailed the real world's view on women's rights perfectly. I walked a little bit faster out.
But what do we know? We're just a couple of boys.
What do we know?
Couple of Tairimo Boys.
All right. Anything you guys want to get into before we get to the final thoughts?
We skipped one very important character, who is also my favorite character, Alan.
Oh yeah, the husband.
What's his
Michael
real life
Cera.
name? Michael Cera.
Oh yeah.
I
That's
thought
right.
about it.
He slid under the radar, but he was one of my favorite characters in the movie. He just wants to get the hell out of Barbie Land.
Yeah, so I kind of deliberately avoided Alan because it just ate up too much time. So I was thinking before, like not even a week before seeing this movie, I was thinking, what the hell is Michael Cera doing nowadays? Like he was hot shit like 10, 15 years ago. Apparently he's in the Barbie movie. Apparently there was like an Alan action figure, and Alan's kind of like the type of kin where he's kind of just out on his own. I guess you would say he's got all Kin's characteristics, but he's different from the Kins. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Yeah.
We're told that there is only one Alan here in Barbie Land, but later on that whole rule contradicts itself whenever we learn that the entirety of NSYNC were Allens that escaped Barbie Land.
I forgot about that scene.
It's clever if you hadn't set up the rule, but yeah, the kind of a comic relief character type deal.
He's an honorable mention.
Yeah.
He has the second best fight scene in the movie.
He takes on a bunch of kin construction workers.
He just clobbers the shit out of them.
Oh, I forgot about that. But yeah, the movie's got a good cast in it.
I would agree.
All right, Jeremy, final thoughts?
I enjoyed a lot of this movie. I disliked a lot of the message being shoved down my throat, but it was a fun movie.
Ryan, final thoughts?
I also liked a lot of this movie. I'm not sure I saw it the same way everyone else did because it felt to me like the ending message, especially with Carla from Cheers showing up and telling Barbie that the patriarchy was just a made up word. It felt like the entire message of the movie was guys and girls should get along, but like you said, things were undercut. I couldn't make out like the actual true message of the movie, but it was pretty fun.
It was
Was
fun, but there's no clear, defined message. We don't understand.
I'm not gonna go as far as saying it's Tairimo Boys certified fun. It's fun, but not Tairimo Boys certified fun.
Definitely worth seeing.
So my final thoughts on it are, like I mentioned, it's trying to push a message, and it's constantly undermining its own message. I think if they hadn't put put all this patriarchy woke crap in the movie, I think this would have become a timeless classic movie. But I think what's going to happen is in like 5 to 10 years, especially if there's like a major recession or stock market crash, this movie is going to be extremely outdated and is going to be a product of its time. Should you see it or not? That's the question. I had fun watching it for the most part. Gotta pay Ryan his nickel for
I'm
saying
gonna
that.
pay you all your money.
But there's the keyword but. It's got a bad message that it sends to people. And it's just going to put everyone against each other. If you want to go see it, go see it. You'll probably feel the same way I do about it. You can always catch it when it's free on streaming services or TV. It'll still be there. The thing I'm worried about is kids hearing, taking away a message from this movie. But then again, I remember watching Small Soldiers as a kid, and I don't remember a damn thing about that movie, other than small soldiers, big battles, and that when they took the small soldiers took the Barbies and turned them into like commando warrior women.
Forgot about that.
Is Small Soldiers review coming up? Who knows?
Oh, we're absolutely doing that one.
Our schedule's like extremely booked right now. We'll see if we want to fade. Then again, Ryan's like older than both of us, so I don't know if Ryan has a history of Small Soldiers.
The one with Phil Hartman.
I don't know.
We'll find out
Well, we'll find out.
one day.
It's later. Later. That's later down the road where our schedule's like way too booked right now.
I will say this though, and I will say something controversial. If the filmmakers were trying to push sort of an anti-male message in this movie, then I think this is the greatest movie of all time. Fuck Raiders of the Lost Ark. Call back because it made the patriarchy look like so much fun. There were barbecues, there were people quoting Sylvester Stallone movies, people killing minks and wearing them over their necks. Everybody was happy, but I just don't know what the message of this movie was.
And Ryan said it. Ryan said it best.
All right, Jeremy. On a scale of Legally Blonde to Ghostbusters 2016, where would you rank this?
Never seen Ghostbusters 2016. Don't remember Legally Blonde, but I'm going to rank this closer. I enjoyed it, so I'm going to rate it in the middle.
Well, Legally Blonde's a movie that does the whole girl power thing really well.
Oh, yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll put it in the middle then.
We don't do scales of 1 to 10. we do scales of the good, the bad, the ugly to
The good,
Larry
bad,
the
the
Cable
ugly.
Guy and Delta Farce. Ryan, what about you?
Few notches below Legally Blonde.
Fair
I enjoyed
enough.
Legally Blonde. Go check
Yeah.
out Legally Blonde, folks.
Yeah, there's a movie for you guys to go watch. Legally Blonde. You have our certification. Legally Blonde's a good movie. You should go watch it. So there's your Legally Blonde review. Don't go watch Ghostbusters 2016. Watch every other Ghostbusters except that one. All right. Well, Hope everyone enjoyed this Barbie-tastic episode of the Tairimo Boys podcast. Stay tuned for more Tairimo Boys Certified Fun. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment telling us how you felt about the Barbie movie or Legally Blonde. And don't forget to ring that motherfucking bell. Stay tuned for more episodes.